Welcome to Recycling in Lunacy with Love, Joanna. And here I am standing beside my elevated giant coloured pencils. Now, I always remember the first set of 72 Derwent pencils I had in that wonderful double layer box. And I thought several years ago, Joanna, why don't you elevate the ordinary coloured pencil and take it to a new level? Now, I couldn't do that myself physically, but I found a wonderful artist, extraordinary artist and lovely man, Dave Monks, and you can find him online at Tiger Eye, and he took very ordinary pine posts and he elevated them into these pencils. Aren't they fantastic? And they're not only fantastic at the front of my house, but they herald the entrance to an extraordinary Mexican artist, Frida Kahlo. And I'd like you to meet Frida, so follow me to this part of my house. Now here sits Frida. You can see her resplendent with her beloved monkey on her shoulder. She's just staring intently at the facade of her blue house, which I have created on my neighbour's fence. Here it is. Here is the facade. You too might want to take something ordinary like a neighbour's fence and create something very extraordinary. But this is what I've done because this is in honour of Frida Kahlo. And I think if Frida had lived a bit longer, sometimes I look at her and think, she might have looked a bit like me. But unfortunately, she died quite young. But anyway, this is her house. This is what I've replicated. Everything here is recycled. A friend down the road gave me this door. You can't actually walk through it because it is on the neighbour's fence. But here it is, Casa Azul. This is the same sort of door she would have had on her blue house in Mexico. And here is a beautiful miniature painting of Frida that was done by my dear friend Nikki Wellington, the creator of the glorious boot. Now, if we move along a bit, I've actually recycled and created some Mexican windows. This I shopped at the tip to get. Well, you don't actually shop because you don't pay for anything, but this I found, and it used to be a glass tabletop, perfect in its rusted condition as a screen for the window. Here, I'm not quite sure where I obtained these shutters. Could have been from my daughter. But anyway, here is Frida peeping out from the window in her blue house. You might have been to Mexico to see her house. But at least I have it here in Lunacy. Now, I want to talk about some bed springs. Maybe if we look over here, Scott, here is a petition. I wanted to use a bed spring as a petition because I thought, I can grow some interesting vines up a bed spring. And at the time I was thinking about bed springs, I had a friend who lived in a caravan down the road. And let's call him Ben for privacy reasons. And I said, Ben, when you go to the tip next, could you bring me back a few bed springs? One day he knocked at my door and he said, Joanna, I've got the bed springs and they're in my trailer, and he had 15. Well, it's hard to find a place for 15 bed springs, but I did my best. So here's one behind the sorted plant here. And then I thought, I have an idea. I'm going to make an installation for plants and rocks, and I'm going to call it Bedrock. I do like a play on words. So here is my Bedrock installation on the bed springs. And it's funny because the fact that I decided to install this near Frida Kahlo is quite significant because she spent years of her life in bed because she had a terrible accident at the age of 18 on a bus, and it was there that she lay encased in a plaster cast, and she started painting butterflies, and that was the beginning of her art. And she always thought of art as a healing to this chronic pain. And also in 1940, she painted a work of art called The Dream of the Bed. Which is Frida's amusing reminder of people's mortality. And in this painting, there's a skeleton with explosives just about to go off at the top of her large poster bed. And the green plants on her body are a reminder of rebirth and life. And you know, I think it's amazing that that's another thing Frida and I have in common, the fact that we both have beds that play such a large role in our lives. So I have my dream bed of great ideas, and she has the bed that became quite a sanctuary for her and her art. And so I think we'll leave on that note until next week, when I'm going to take you into my kitchen. Yes, inside my house, into my kitchen. So until then, goodbye with love, Joanna. I think you forgot to film the cactus. Can you insert it?
I could try.